Hey everybody. I want to chat real quick about the second half of our Talislanta one shot. In the last video, I wrapped up at the point when the characters had a fairly brief combat encounter with some Sauran lizardmen mercenaries who were after the mystery object in the care of the NPC merchant they were escorting. I don't think I clued you guys in on exactly what this mystery object was, so I'll tell you. The party figured out that the object is a Tamar or Seeker Stone. Seeker Stones are, in my opinion, minor artifacts of a sort. These stones retain a portion of the spirit essence of their owners and can be read or accessed by touch. The stones are a type of storage device which records the experiences of the owner. Now, me being who I am, why would I stop there? In my Talislanta, the stones hold visual, audible, and emotional memories, like echoes. The more information a stone carries, the more unstable and volatile it is. Upon a seeker's untimely death, the stone may expunge its contents in kind of like a psychic explosion of sorts. I haven't worked out all the details, but it's basically a mystic area effect attack, which can be resisted by, I would say, a will attribute test. A success results in the character taking half damage. Instead of hit point damage, maybe the attack does temporary will damage or something. I've got to work it out. But anyway, the Tamar Stone was at one time bonded to Phaedril, who was the deceased master of Naye, the Arian Seeker that we'll talk about in a minute. Somehow the stone was obviously stolen, and Naye had been tasked to recover it and return it to her home, which is the maze city of Altan in the north. There, her master's memories will be uploaded and merged with a giant stone obelisk at the center of the city, which is basically just like a giant seeker stone, a great database of knowledge and probably souls too, I'm thinking. Naye is behind the Sauran mercenary attack that happened last session, and we'll find a little bit more about that in a little bit. The player of the rogue magician decided to kill a cooperative and captive Sauran mercenary, and that's how the last session ended. So after starting the session off with a little bit more rules discussion, the party continued on their way, and shortly thereafter encountered Naye the Seeker on the road. She basically approached the party and decided that she would parley with them instead of attempting to basically tear the stone away from them. She comes clean to them, telling them of her plight and apologizing for the actions of the mercenaries who were kind of heavy-handed, although she assumed the characters were in league with Yasif, who had a hand in the murder of her master and the theft of the Seeker Stone. Once the party found that out, they talked to Naye and were trying to figure out what to do about Yasif and the stolen stone. And suddenly they were ambushed by a crossbow attack. The Xandir swordsman, whose player wasn't attending this session, immediately went down in the initial attack. I must admit that this is kind of a heinous act, which was selfishly initiated by me because I hate running NPCs in combat, especially for the party. This mainly comes from an issue I have had as a player in the past when GM-controlled NPCs would often swoop in and take all the glory from the players. Besides, I had the NPC Naye and the bad guys to take control of and worry about. And counterbalance be damned, that character had to go. So, 2 heavy crossbow bolts to the chest worked wonders. After getting their bearings, the characters located 2 Abbasian heretics, which were hiding in the underbrush off the road. Abbasian heretics are basically, bear with me here, non-Amanians who have been captured and brainwashed into serving the Orthodoxist cult, which is the ruling church of the Aman kingdom, to do their dirty work. So they basically brainwashed these captives turn them into religious zealots, and use their skills to basically do the church's bidding. That's pretty much what they are. After engaging the heretics, a pair of Farron, and these guys are basically rat men. They were led by an Ammonian inquisitor, which is a cleric basically, and they were backed up by an Ammonian warrior priest who's kind of like a paladin. They joined the encounter. The PC Aramat knife fighter quickly dispatched one of the heretics, and then also took care of the two ratmen, the Farron. The Inquisitor, the cleric or priestess, engaged the Aramite knife fighter with holy magic, kind of shooting her with basically the holy version of like a magic missile and some other things. While the other PC, the rogue magician, he's dueling with the remaining heretic. Two knife throws later, one of which was a critical, finished the Inquisitor. And then meanwhile, the Armenian warrior priest, the Paladin, he's been buffing himself with protective magic. And lastly, he summons a magical sword. More or less, one of the players joked it was like a lightsaber, which it kind of is. The rogue magician, he finishes the heretic. And being a fanatic, the warrior priest, he engages the rogue magician and actually strikes him with his, for lack of a better term, his holy energy sword, and did a lot of damage. I think he almost took him out pretty much. I think one more hit and the rogue magician would have been done. Naye, the seeker, she cast mirror image basically onto the rogue magician, while the Aramite knife fighter gathered her throwing knives from her victims. And then while facing off against the warrior priest, the rogue magician player realized he was all out of spell castings and had to just go sword to sword. The warrior priest was armored with chainmail, had a shield, and so I'd expected him to be able to hold his own against the rogue magician and eventually outlast him, although I didn't tell the players that. The two combatants traded blows until the Aramite knife fighter joined up again and flanked the warrior priest and basically flung her knives at him, killing him. As Yasif fled in the wagon, Naye, the seeker, approached the two remaining characters and asked if they would accompany her on the return journey back to her city with the stone. They'd head east to Simril first, which is another city, where she would reward them with silver before continuing onward. The two characters agreed, and their further adventures have surely been recorded for us to read at another time.